Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Runs and Acceleration. We apologize, it's been some time, but it has been a very hectic start of the year for both of us.
Yep.
Akash currently coming to you as a COVID positive person, very positive right now. Um, so he's at home. I'm actually in the library, even though it's recess week. So that's how busy it has been for us. But we are back, and we want to start off by letting you know that we're kind of changing up the segments now. We're
hmm
going to be doing episodes in 10 to 12-minute segments.
Yep.
So it's shorter, crisper, and one segment focusing entirely on one thing
Yeah.
instead of just one sport. So let's start off by looking at the IPL auctions.
hmm
So some pretty exciting buys. A couple of teams going for captains.
Yep.
Akash, your biggest takeaways, your best top three or worst three buys.
I don't know where to start with the auction, to be honest. I think for me personally, I think the like before everything, when they were like all the build up to the mega auction, I just didn't think that we would see certain names going to certain places. I felt like, personally for me, because we've said this before, we're both Mumbai Indians fans. For Mumbai's auction, I actually felt that we did. I think we didn't do as well as I think we did. Actually, I think one thing is Mumbai that we usually find kind of a lot of diamonds in the roughs. We usually do really well in the auction, but I'm just kind of curious. We got some nice, interesting buys, and Brevis, that kind of mini AB de Villiers, who took the Under-19 World Cup by storm this year. We've got some guys like Tilak Varma, who's someone both Mumbai and CSK have kind of identified as someone who could be someone for the future. We've got Jofra Archer, big buy, but I think a little bit of a question mark for me still. I think we kind of maybe paid a little too much. Also, just saying that because he doesn't have that much form right now in him, and he's been injured
We
for
don't know if he's playing this year, do we?
exactly, like he's been injured like crazy. Yeah, that's a concern. There's just a lot of kind of moving parts. I definitely think that but the biggest thing for me is and probably the highlight of the auction was us going in and retaining or going in and basically getting the option to buy again Ishan Kishan, which was
I think that
I
was a.
I was surprised, very surprised. I don't know what were your
Same.
thoughts on that? That because that
I
personally was for me that one of the top three moments I would say in the auction. Yeah.
think top three moment for sure, and I was a little shocked because everyone knew this was going to happen. He was going to go for 12, 13.
Yep.
But I think people need to realize that as good as he was in the last few games for Mumbai, and he's had a decent start for the Indian team,
Very true.
um, he's not been all that consistent
Yep.
because he's not very good against spin. And in fact, in the India leg last year, the first half of IPL before COVID caused the show to be stopped, he was struggling a lot against spin. And
Mhm.
this year we are playing indeed in Mumbai and Pune. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And since you have that price tag on your head, right?
Yep.
No matter what you say, when you are that person who's gotten the most amount of money, it kind of puts that pressure on you. And you're only supposed to play, I think, for 15, 16 games now with 10 teams. I think might be 16. I'm not
Yep.
entirely sure. But to say that you're basically earning 1 crore a game, it can get to your head. And I know a lot of Indian players youngsters who are now in the Indian team and are captains of IPL teams or players, they're all getting a huge amount of money,
Yep.
more than 10 crores for most of them. But when you're that separator at 15, knowing that you've not always been in the best of form in these conditions, bit of a surprise for me because it also meant that we, as Mumbai, didn't have a lot of chances to pick up marquee players early on because
Yep.
they were saving for him. They missed out on David Warner, who Delhi got for a steal at 5.5 or 6.
Yep. Very true.
Um, there were a few other players that we could have gone for, honestly. We tried for, I think, Puran. We tried a few batsmen, but we didn't go all in.
Yeah.
So,
And also I think it's one thing is to mention is that when we're looking at an Indian opener who's there for the future, I think Ishan Kishan is probably at the top of most people's lists. I would say. We look at someone like David Warner, old has to be honest, 33, I think right now, maybe 34. Doesn't have that much left in him. Very poor IPL last year. And then look at someone like Nicholas Puran or something like that. not an opener, plays at number 4. I mean, same with Kishan, he kind of a number 4 or opener like that, um, but again, that's another overseas spot, and with especially with Mumbai, I think they like to have their core as their Indians and Pollard. I think
But
that's
that's
the
my
thing they
question
kind of
because
format the team.
we've Mumbai basically, so Hardik Pandya and Kunal Pandya are both gone.
Yep.
Good for them, they're getting more senior roles in their own teams.
Yep.
But other than that, what I saw is that Mumbai has gone for a lot of overseas international players. So the top order or middle order will be kind of Indian batsmen. Then you
Yep.
have Pollard. Then you have the options of Daniel Sands.
Hmm.
You have Tim David, the Singaporean, who went for 8.25 crores. In
Yep.
my opinion, considering he played a few games for RCB last year, he wasn't that great.
Yep.
He's doing really well in the PSL. So
Mhm.
that is good that he's playing in those subcontinent conditions well,
Yep.
but still a doubt because you kind of already bought Daniel Sands to spend that much on Tim David
Yep.
was because he's not a fit. He doesn't walk into your playing 11 every game.
See, the thing is, I think with Sams and David is it's I think those are smart buys in my opinion because Daniel Sams has really proven to be a very handy all rounder, someone who I think could really be batting at Mumbai at like 7 or something like that. And Tim David could be a replacement for Pollard. Maybe he might come in the 6. But it's a little bit all kind of confusing whether you play Brevis at 3 or 4 or something like that, or like Tilak
Exactly,
Verma.
because then you need to play um, Archer or Tyler Mills as one of your
Yeah.
bowlers. We have one more overseas bowler, right? Fast bowler.
Yeah, but I'm forgetting the name. I think yeah, we went for a
And
few.
yeah, we
Yeah,
did. And the shocker was that Mumbai, for the first time, I think, is going in without a good spinner in the lineup. But we bought back Mayank Markande after a long time, and
Murugan Ashwin.
we got Murugan Ashwin, who's been decent. But if you
Yeah,
were talking about quality spinners compared to Rahul Chahar, or before that, we used to have Harbhajan for a long time. I don't see that quality of spin anymore.
very true. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a concern. I think now we focus a lot on Mumbai. Let's try to maybe like look at a few other teams. What
Mhm.
was some other teams? I mean, for me, I think one team that I'm sort of I don't know. I think they did not do that great in the auction, very honestly, but I think they have one buy that is showing a lot of strength is Shreyas Iyer at KKR. Um,
Mm.
I'm looking forward to that. It's not a good. In my opinion, I don't think it's a good KKR team right now. I think there's a lot of holes in that team. They do not have a very. I think they had the worst. I think out of all the teams, I think they had the worst auction in my opinion. Um, just a lot of like concerns. Is there any like other teams that you kind of maybe underperformed, maybe overperformed in your opinion? Yeah.
I think in terms of underperforming, yeah, KKR was one of them because there was a point where they had like 15 crores left. They only had 10 players and
Yep.
they were ready to pay around like 9-10 crores for Livingston or Puran.
Yep.
So they really went hard at these players. Then they wanted Shah Rukh Khan. Um, just just so it's not confusing,
Yep.
Shah Rukh Khan is also a very popular player now from Tamil Nadu,
Yep.
and he was bought by Punjab. So yes, it could have been kind of a gimmick as well, having Shah Rukh Khan in a Shah Rukh Khan team, all of that. But he's a
Yep.
great player, so I think that was the reason they were going for him. But paying those amount of money when you don't really have a core, because they lost Dinesh Karthik,
Hmm.
they they've lost Shubman Gill as well. So
Yep.
they only have Venkatesh Iyer. They lost Rahul Tripathi as well. Rahul
Yep.
Tripathi really got his due. I think Sunrisers paid a good amount for him,
Yep.
getting that 8.5 crore. Some great buys, I think, would be Chennai. Chennai was very strategic.
Yeah. Very
People
true.
thought they went all out by going for Deepak Chahar at 14 and buying back Ambati Raidu, who's kind of an old player now, but he
Yep.
still got around 7. But I think they bought back all the players they needed. Then they bought some good new talent as well.
Yep.
And I think it seems like a very strong team to me. They
Yep.
have a lot of options in every department. They've got back all their strength players,
Yep.
where it's Uttappa, there's Bravo,
Yeah.
Dhoni is going to be there.
I think that.
Surprisingly, Mr. IPL,
Yep.
Raina wasn't taken, but I
Yep.
kind of understand. You have to go towards the future. You can't sick
Exactly.
in the past.
Yeah, and also the one thing is like I think with CSK, you have no, Watson's gone, Duplessis gone. You're working with like you're working with like a kind of very different team now, like for the last couple of years and everything like that. And I think someone like for me, I think I'm going with a pretty big prediction here. I think for me, my dark horse for IPL for this season is going to be Moeen Ali. I really think he's
Interesting.
someone that they retain. I think he has a lot of potential on these wickets. These are wickets I think that would suit him a lot. And
Yeah.
I think he's also, he's retired. He just has all the focus. He's retired from the test team. He's just all focused right now on T20. I think he's now just wants to have fun. So I'm really looking forward to this Chennai team. Hopefully, they don't do that well because we have that rivalry and everything like that. But
As
it
long as
looks
we
like
beat them in the finals. As
exactly,
long as we beat them.
exactly. It's looking like a solid team. Yeah. So let's talk about actually these two new teams, Lucknow and Gujarat. I mean, Ahmedabad. But what are your thoughts on the kind of makeup of them? Yeah.
Interesting teams. Um, Both of them went for kind of an all-rounder approach. A lot of all-rounders in both teams,
Yep.
not a lot of specialists. And I think Ahmedabad or Gujarat, whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
um, their team has good coaches and stuff. They have Carrie Kirsten, if I'm not wrong,
Yep.
right? So he's there. Hardik Pandya as captain, okay. I think KL Rahul is still a better.
I'm very gonna be honest. I just feel like Hardik Pandya is gonna have the captaincy, and it's just gonna possibly shift over. I just think that guy is his confidence. I just don't know where his confidence is at. I
I don't
just
think
feel
it's
there
just
could
his
be a
confidence.
captaincy
He's
change.
lost his ability first, which
Yeah.
is today. If you look at the Indian team with Venkatesh Iyer coming up, Surya Kumar Yadav, Deepak Huda, more like Venkatesh or um, Deepak Huda. Both the Pandey brothers, you don't really need them anymore because you're
Yep.
seeing these guys have. Because the thing is, the Pandey brothers never had any technique. They had the style and they had the power.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing these guys who can bowl. Venkatesh Iyer gives that medium pace on sticky wickets, which is great. He has that ability. He bats with proper technique
Yep.
as an opener, and he's a good hitter.
Yep.
Playing great in India right now. And you have Deepak Huda, who's also doing great. I think lastly, the team I would like to focus on would be um, Punjab, who has had an amazing auction.
Yeah.
I mean,
Best team in the
Liam
best team
Livingston.
who I think the team that outperformed everyone in the auction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they went for big buys, but they
Yep.
all paid off.
Yeah.
They even got Rahul Cheher from Mumbai.
Yeah.
They got a few good spinners coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't announced their captain, and they retained Mayank Agarwal. So that kind of means that Mayank Agarwal might not be their direct captaincy choice. They have Liam Livingston coming in, like I said.
Yep.
Some pretty interesting players and a lot of focus on their all round as well. So looks exciting.
Yep. Definitely. All right. So I think that's going to be it for our kind of IPL lookout. We're going to be, of course, following the season at the end of March when it all starts. And we're really looking forward to it. New format, new teams, kind of just a new tournament almost, it feels like. So really, really exciting. All right. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.